What is going on, guys? This video is going to be kind of different just because this kitchen has some upgrades already done to it. We're still going to be changing the floors, the lights, and some of the detail work. Let's get to it. Stay tuned. In this video I'm going to show you how to do all this by myself. Let's get to it. What is going on, guys? I appreciate everyone that tunes in and watches all my videos from start to finish, and even my shorts. Without further ado, we're going to be demoing the floor using a hammer drill. It kind of makes quick work of it, but it was pretty difficult because it was 3 layers of floor and that first top layer was very heavy. And in this video we're going to be doing the floor, the kitchen cabinet lights, the overhead lights, and also some paint. So hope you watch all of it. And for full transparency, this video is mostly a time lapse. I know people don't like time lapses, but my entire channel is full of videos explaining things and going things in detail. Just not this video. I am so close to being done with my house. I just have a room left and 2 bathrooms. Content creation is not my full-time job. It's just my hobby, and I love it like that. I don't feel obligated. I don't feel pressured. And even what I do to the houses, that's not even my full-time job. That is just something I do when I come home from work. Okay, back to the main video. So 3 coats of red guard and making sure I screwed in any loose spots on the floor and I made sure it's completely leveled. We are ready to go with the floor, and now I'm going to be doing my lights, which is pretty straightforward. The cabinet lights are more complicated because you cannot leave any exposed wires due to code, and you have to run it through conduit. So now onto the floor, which is my favorite part. The first thing I do is always do 2 rows, get them straight down the middle, make sure it looks right on each side. Make sure you're not going to cut off too much of one piece on each side. So on the left side it's going to be maybe 3/4 of a tile, and on the right side it's also going to be around 3/4 of a tile, so it won't be a sliver cut at the end. And you do the first 2 rows first, so that way you can have it completely leveled and then do the rest of them off of that. And the pattern I went with was the bricklaying pattern. I really like it because when you do black grout with white tile, it really shows off the contrast. And while we're at it, we can talk about some tips that I've learned on the way. So one of them being, when you do lay tile, you got to back butter every single tile. I don't care if it's a shower, because in showers you have to have what it is, like 98-99% coverage. Let's just do it even for the floor. It doesn't matter, even if it's not a wet area, because you don't want a tile to crack on you. That is the most annoying thing. And I've never had it happen, but I've had to replace tiles that are cracked, and it is difficult. You take a lot of time when you can just do it right the first time. Tip number 2 is going to be always using leveling clips. Why? Because overnight they can settle. The tile is heavy, and then the tile's weight is going to make itself settle just a little bit. So even if you have it perfectly leveled, it's going to settle and it's going to throw it off. And if you don't have leveling clips, it's going to throw it off by just enough where you'll notice it. Tip number 3 is going to be patience, and I've even seen this with professionals where they try to... Tiles are meant to last forever, so just like with anything on my channel, just got to do it right the first time. We are close to being done with the floor. I just have a couple pieces left, and then it's going to be on to the grout. The biggest tip I can give for grout is to work in small sections. The last thing you want is for it to dry on you, and it is a headache to get that haze off, even if you have a microfiber towel and a sponge. So as you see, I only work with like 10 to 20 square feet, and then I start wiping with the sponge first and then the towel to go behind it. This method has worked for me tremendously, and even if I do have a little haze on the end, it is easy to scrub out. And if worst case worst, you do let it dry, they do make haze remover, and it's at Home Depot and Lowe's. It's just kind of pricey, so it's better to do it right the first time, just like anything else. Now onto the paint. I always do 2 coats because you can always see the paint underneath when you do 1. So always do 2 coats. And what I do is I roll, I brush, roll, and then brush again. And on the left side and in the middle, I did a bright white. And on the rest of the walls, I did a paint color called Elemental by PP&G. The good thing about tile is that even if you're painting and you spill paint, it comes off so easy. Just let it dry, you scrape it off after. And that wraps up the painting portion of this. And if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching all the way through. And I know it's just a time lapse, but I promise you in the next one, it's not just going to be a time lapse. I plan on doing my master bathroom next, and that includes ripping out the fiberglass shower and doing an entire tiled shower. So please stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of talking heads, and it's not just going to be a time lapse. And like always, if you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you have any questions, it doesn't matter about what it is. It could be about the layout of the floor, the way I did my lights, anything I can answer, I'll answer it. So please leave your comments in the comment section. I read every single one and I respond to every single one. And the total time frame for this project, working after work, was 2 weeks, and I spent almost around $600. Hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.